Some see sports as just a game. But it's more than that. It's about building dreams, embracing teamwork, and pushing limits. With every play, every cheer, we're there rooting as partners in their journey. Because at First Community Bank, we believe the youth of today shape our communities tomorrow.
What is up, everybody? We are back today in Wise County with the man himself, the head football coach of the UVA Wise Cavaliers football team, Coach Gary Bass.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man, really. Got a lot I'm going to throw at you, Coach. Nothing too crazy here, but I got to take you back some here. Tell me, Coach, how did you get into coaching?
Well, I think originally, I think anybody, whenever they first get into football and they start playing it, they fall in love with it. I know my senior year of college when I was playing at Catawba, I really didn't originally plan on coaching. I was going to be an accountant. Numbers is my thing. And then I kind of got away spring senior year and wasn't around football for the first time in a very long time. And I knew I had to do it. It's one of those things for me. I think it's a calling. You definitely don't do it for the money and other things. And I think you just get an opportunity to be a mentor and a father figure for a lot of young men that we're going to have the opportunity to coach. And that has to mean something to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, so before Wise, you were at Quincy for 7 seasons. That's a home at that point. What kind of encouraged that step over to Wise?
Well, I mean, all in all, I think I was there for 12 or 13. I was the offensive coordinator and the O-line coach and strength coach for the first 5 or so years, and I was the head coach for 7. Originally from near the Asheville, North Carolina, Marion, North Carolina area. Coached in high school ball for 3 or 4 years. Got an opportunity to go to Missouri Southern in Joplin, Missouri, as the O-line coach and assisted with strength and conditioning before I went to Quincy. And I mean, I've been in the Midwest for a better part of 15, 16 years. Both of my kids have been born in Quincy. My wife's from South Dakota, so it was kind of the perfect middle ground. Loved it there, but I got an opportunity to come here when I interviewed, and we'd finally turned that place around. And for me, it wasn't one of those things that I was looking or had to take a job. It had to be the right fit. When I got on this campus and got an opportunity to be around our administration and everybody here, it was a no-brainer. Fit is everything. Whether you're talking about a player from a recruiting standpoint or whether you're talking about a coach, you got to make sure you go somewhere that your vision, your mission, what you're trying to accomplish with the program falls in line with exactly what the people and the administration, everything wants. And I mean, it was a perfect fit, and the rest is history.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. Well, it certainly seems like you left the place better than you found it. So at that point, you definitely done your job there, you know. Now, when you look back at that, Gary Bass, to the coach and the man you are now, what are some things that you think you have really improved on since your time over at Wise?
I think ultimately the place I was at before was a private school, so enrollment mattered. We had 170 kids or a lot of football players. We don't have to have that ability here. So I think it's a little bit easier to be more streamlined with a lot of things. We don't have a roster very big like some people do in our conference and around this area. We don't have more than 110. The first year I got here, we only had 85. Last year we were out at 100, and this next coming year will be the first time we'll be fully staffed. I didn't want to have 50 or 60 freshmen in a class. I wanted to make sure we were 30-ish in each freshman class so we could retain them. I think ultimately you look for us in the first 2 years, and when I got here, I knew there was going to be some things that we needed to do and change and fix. And I think ultimately everything stems with culture. Culture is king. If you don't fix the culture and the foundation and standards and expectations of your program off the rip, the wins and losses aren't going to happen. I mean, for the 2 years for me, it's been about building relationships with the local area coaches, with the alumni, with the university, with everybody you can think of. And then it was making sure we do a good job with the young men within our program. I mean, the team GPA has went up every single semester. We're right at a 3.0. Currently, we had over 20 guys on Dean's List this past fall. And just getting our guys to understand that how you do anything is how you do everything. And I mean, the first year we won 4 ball games. This year we only won 1. Attribute a lot of that to youth. Attribute a lot of that to injuries. But ultimately we went 1-9. I mean, it is what it is. We got some things we've got to fix as a coaching staff and as players. And I think ultimately getting experience for all those guys. I mean, we had 70 of 100 kids on our roster last year that were third semester of college or younger. What little bit of hair I got left is turning gray quickly. And then you throw in the fact that we had somewhere around 20, 25 injuries at least, with a lot of starters being in that mix and a lot of upperclassmen. When you lose Ian Scammell, who was an all-conference player for us the first year, we lose him week 1 for the rest of the season. We lose Seth Fishback, our other returning all-conference player, week 2. We lose Boyd with a Liz Frank injury week 2 as well. I mean, by the time we got to week 4 or 5, we were without a lot of guys. And I mean, I was very proud of the young men that we have in this team and the fight that they showed and the resolve that they showed. And we're very, very excited about the future. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, fifth coach in school history, UVA certainly comes with the tradition side of it. Really, the history behind that place is beautiful. Talk to me some about just that feel that being with Wise gets.
Well, I think ultimately, any coach that takes over a program, the first thing you have to do is you have to fall in love with the process and traditions of things that have been from the past. You've got to get an opportunity to meet coaches that are either high school coaches now or alumni from the past, to see the things that happened and were done before you got here. I think too many coaches walk into a place and they try to pretend as if the program didn't exist prior to them getting there. For me, this is not my program. This is the university's program. This is our alumni's program, our Southwest Virginia's program, and we've got to continue to operate that way, from recruiting, from what we do in community service, to everything. So I say, ultimately, I think you've got to build those relationships, and I think in the first 2 years, I think we've done a very good job of that. And I think ultimately that's been the biggest, most important piece of what we've been trying to do, to adhere to some of the things that have been done in the past. And I mean, whether you're talking about Coach Robbins, who passed away, and get an opportunity to talk to his son Brad, who's now at TCU, to Brad Lutz, who played here and he's done a phenomenal job at William Byrd, to Coach Caudell, it's John I. Burton, that's right here, to all the different coaches that we have. Coach Spurlock, who's the head coach at Central. I mean, there's so many coaches, whether you're talking about Ridgeview, other schools, Union, that have UVA Wise alums, and we're trying to do the best job we can to make sure that we recruit the young men in this area and that we keep the best players in Southwest Virginia here.
And we all are doing it right for sure. Now, before I dive into it, Coach, my teeth, man, I want to bite into that steak for real because I love it. Obviously, a man who's kind of done his due diligence and you've kind of climbed up the ladder more traditional way, right? You got in at the high school level, head coach there, and then you got in up to the college level, spent some time there, and now you're at the Division II school, spent some time there, and now you're really building a program there. Who was your mentor? Like, who was that one guy when you look back, whether it's coaching philosophy or really anything that you really contribute has played into your success?
I'd probably give you 3 people off the top of my head. I'd say number 1 was Carson Gowan. He was my high school coach. Is my offensive line coach, defensive line coach. I learned a ton from him. I learned whenever at a young age that toughness and character and integrity and work ethic matter. And I think from a recruiting standpoint, as much as anything else, is people watch a 2-minute highlight film, but they don't sit here and they find out about a work ethic, the toughness, the character and integrity of a young man when they're recruiting him. So I definitely think from him I learned a lot of that, personal drive, dedication, things of that sort. And I look at the second person I'd give you is Mike Bloomgren. He was my offensive line coach from Catawba College. He's now the O-line coach for the Cleveland Browns. He'd been the head coach at Rice. He'd been at Stanford. He'd been with the New York Jets. He'd been with Texas A&M. I got an opportunity to get coached by him at a young age when he first got out of college. And from him, the amount of detail and the ability to communicate and coach at a high level, I think, was something I learned from him. But again, some of the same things as far as mental toughness, physicality, and how to play the position and how to demand it from other people. I definitely think the third person is Bart Tatum. He was my head coach that I worked for whenever I was at Missouri Southern. He'd been at Northwest Missouri State. When we left there, he went to Sam Houston State. That man was one of the most articulate, well-spoken, driven, like, communicators I've ever met. He probably taught me how to communicate with people better than any person I've ever had the opportunity to meet with. And when it comes down to it, we talk about leadership in this program, and leadership is defined as one word. It equals influence. Well, in order to have influence over somebody, you got to do 2 things. Number 1, you got to have a relationship with them. And number 2, you got to learn how to talk to them. And as a society right now, I think that's the one thing we probably struggle with the most is communication. We listen to each other long enough to argue with each other. We don't listen to each other long enough to understand why people feel a specific way that they do. And it's okay to have a differing opinions. And unfortunately, right now we live in a society that if you're different in opinion, you all of a sudden, regardless on where you stand on things, the other person's evil, and that's just not the truth.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well said. Um, Now I do want to talk to you some about this freshman class. Man, the talent. I may be a bit biased, but I don't believe so, to be honest with you. Right? You got Mike Reese and Toby Baker coming in, Carlos Anderson, Jalen Deal, Coulter Scanlon, and there's going to be a few more to come for sure. Um, and this looks like the type of class that, as a head coach, you can kind of maybe identify as this should be a foundational group of kids for this program. Talk to me some just about the excitement with it, and I guess just kind of how you've been able to really just build relationships with these kids, like you've been talking about for the past 2 years.
Well, unfortunately, NCAA, I'm not allowed to truly talk about them individually. But I can tell you as a whole, our recruiting philosophy and just what we're trying to accomplish here. Um, I mean, ultimately, as a college football coach, you have to do the best job you can to recruit your backyard. And you've got to force young men from around this area to tell us no. There's always going to be years that are a little bit different based on where you're at needs wise at each position. Every year is going to be slightly different. The other thing that's going to be a little bit different for us than some other programs may have is since we are a state school and we don't have a huge roster, we just don't sign as many kids. I mean, you're probably looking at signing day 20 to 25 ish, maybe a hair more. You're not looking at some places that are going to have 40, 45, 50 people. So, I mean, we're very selective. And that selectivity can be a whole host of things. Some people may look at a kid and go, "Well, this one's not as good as this one." But I mean, but if this one's got great grades and he works hard and he's got the character integrity and the mental toughness and the things that we're looking for, he's a kid that we're going to target and he's a guy that we're going to recruit. And I think ultimately people don't value that enough. A coach will watch a highlight film for 2 minutes, and kids can put together a great 2 minute highlight film. There's a lot of kids that have a lot of stats. If you can't just golf stats, it's not like going to a golf course and a 70 is a 70. Where I mean, levels matter, character matters, grades matter, work ethic matters, mental toughness matters, integrity matters. I mean, a kid that you can just know that's going to roll his sleeve up and get to work. And I think the guys that you'll see that will sign on signing day are guys that meet those different things that we're looking for. And I think that's always important. You got to make sure that you keep those kids back here. I mean, if there's a good football player in this area, we got to do our due diligence to make sure that that young man tells us no before we let him get out of here.
Yes, sir. Wait, I'm excited for it. This fall. Should be a fun one for real. And then you got the oncoming falls. Once these kids are in house and they're really just putting in work, it's gonna be beautiful. It really is. Now one of those kids that has committed would be Michael Reese. He's gonna love this part. So you're an offensive lineman by birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you obviously played your college ball at Catawba. Talk to me some just about your philosophy on building a team trench first.
I mean, here's the thing: you look at football, and football's not football without O lineman and D lineman. I mean, it's just not. You don't see
Fair.
you don't see people going to 7-on-7 like NFL. The NFL's not NFL without linemen. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that skill positions don't matter because they all do. But if you can't control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, you're going to struggle. One thing that we were much improved on this year, our offensive line played immensely better. Even though we had three true freshmen, borderline four at times, that played a ton for us, which was huge. I mean, that's always something that when you get young guys that have an opportunity physically to get out there and you get them experience, I think that was a huge thing for us. And now those guys got a ton of experience. Now you look at defensively, if you can't stop the run and get after the passer, you have the greatest linebackers on the planet and secondary on the planet, and you can't stop people. So I mean, ultimately, if you don't build front first, and I think if you look at us from 2 years ago to this year, I would definitely 100% tell you that we are better up front than what we were 2 years ago. We ran the football better. We protected the passer better. I mean, you look at the last 4 games of the season. Unfortunately, Jake Corcoran got hurt again this year, and we lost in the last 3.5 games of the season. We had a true freshman, Mac Beeson, come in, and he didn't skip a beat. And a lot of that has to do with the big boys up front taking care of him and him doing his thing. So, I mean, if you don't build it that way, you can have the best quarterback, receivers, tight ends, running backs on the planet. If you didn't got people to block and you ain't got people to create double teams and occupy gaps correctly on defense, you're just not going to be able to stop people.
Well said. Yes, sir. I am also a man that God gave broad shoulders to, so I can appreciate that 100%.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, obviously 1-9 is
Mhm.
not what you want to see, but you take positives from that. I guess just from the guys you have in house. Talk to me some, not to put expectations on, but as fans of just football, what can we expect from this younger UVA team this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we were talked about the youth that we had last year, and you look at the beginning of the season. Um, we had our opportunities to. I mean, Newberry went to the Final Four, and we had the opportunity to beat Newberry. I mean, we gave a kick return for a touchdown, but we had the ball on the 1 yard line with a chance to tie the ball game towards the end, and we didn't get it done. And then you look at Catawba, we had an opportunity to beat them. We played well with Wingate for the most part for 3+ quarters, and that's when the injury bug definitely took its toll. And I think the other piece that you see with the injury side of things is now those young kids that were not quite used to the physical nature of college football. Now, instead of them being 100%, now their legs, they're a step slower, and they're just not used to the physical nature that you have to play at the Division II level, specifically in this conference week in and week out. I mean, if you don't play well, you can get beat. And so I think for us, one of the things I always tell people, I think too many people look at results and it's the only thing they marry about. For me, we're trying to build a program, not a team. And that takes time. And for us, we have to do it the right way. We have to lay the foundations. We have to get the behavior right. We have to get the grades right. We have to get community service done correctly. We have to do a whole lot of things. And like I said earlier, how you do anything is how you do everything. So getting those guys to understand that they have to be process driven is important. One of the things I tell our players all the time is you have to be process driven, not result oriented. That doesn't mean the results don't matter, because they do. However, I'm a firm believer that A plus B plus C equals D. And you don't just jump to something without doing those other things properly. So watching our guys perform in the weight room, watching our guys right now do the little things correctly in their life is what's going to give us a springboard for next season. Because like I tell them, I think sometimes coaches go into things, oh, the goal is a conference championship. Well, I mean, anybody in their right mind, they'll tell you that's the goal of what you're trying to accomplish each and every year and to be better than you were last year. But what happens if you get 5 games, 6 games into a season, then all of a sudden that's not doable? Well, now you're going to have a team that just quits because they can't achieve their goals. I mean, ultimately for us, our goal is to be excellent, which means doing something to the best of your ability at all times. Excellence is going to look different for every year. Every excellence is going to look different for every person. So for us, we've got to be better than we were last year. And what that means record-wise, we'll see in the fall. But I definitely can tell you right now, with the young men that we brought in from a transfer perspective and the young men that we're trying to sign by next Wednesday, this football program is in a better spot, and much better spot than what we've been in the past.
Yes, sir. Now, I don't know if there's much else that can be said with what I'm about to say but Coach, just SWV as a whole, right? You're very familiar with just the football culture. I mean, it's as a fan of football, obviously you're a coach, but you're a fan too. You have to love it, man. It is rabid. It really is. What can you say to the fans just to get them out to just come catch a game on a Saturday? Really, like how can we just get people there?
I think there's 3 pieces to that. I think number one, you have to do a really good job of being connected to the community. Whether you're talking about the free youth camp we do before our spring game, the community service things that we do at Wasp Primary, LF Addington, Norton Elementary or Middle School, like you have to be around. You have to show people that you care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think ultimately, number one, it's got to be about the relationships with the community. We have to make people believe that this is their football team in Southwest Virginia. I think the second piece kind of goes hand in hand with that, but it's from a recruiting standpoint. If you've got a bunch of kids from Florida and California and Texas, you don't have the investment from the player or from the community because they don't know everybody. When you have more people, and specifically in important positions, sometimes whether you're talking about quarterback or other positions that people know and have seen grow up and play, that's going to get more people in the stands. And I think number 3 is winning. I think as you continue to do those 3 things, if you have ties to the community, you recruit locally, and you have kids in positions that are going to give them an opportunity to get on the field, and I think you win more ball games, I think more people show up. And I think it's a layered combination of all those 3 things. This isn't one of those marketing ploys where you're just trying to convince people to come to a game. I think all three things matter. And if you do those things, three things correctly, like I think we've done, minus the wins as of right now, I think you're going to see a big uptick. But it starts with that. It starts with week 0 when we go play Presbyterian, an FCS, week 0 on August 29th. How do we play that game will dictate a lot, to be honest with you, what week 1 looks like when we bring Chowan here for our first home game of the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wait, I'm excited, Coach. That kind of wraps up all that I have here. Man, Coach, I appreciate your time, really. And
Absolutely.
I guess that kind of wraps it up, Coach. Is there anybody you want to give a quick shout out to, whether it's your coaches or really anybody?
I think first and foremost, Chancellor Henry and Dr. Kendall Rainey, our athletic director and chancellor, um, their commitment to this football program is unwavering. They understand exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And when I talked about fit, I think that's extremely important that you get people that are like minded individuals to what you're trying to accomplish. I think number two, our coaching staff has worked tirelessly, not just to recruit young men of character, but people from this area to get the young men that are going to give us the opportunity, but also develop them as men holistically. Shout out to Coach Ladd, our offensive coordinator, no line coach. If he is not a father right now, he will be a father in the hours to come. Him and his wife are expecting their first one, and they're at the hospital currently. And outside of that, I couldn't be more proud of the group of young men that we have in this football program right now. I think we have 80 guys right now for the spring semester. To watch the work that they've put in, the leadership that they're showing, the work ethic, and one of the biggest things I told them for this spring was our spring goal was very simple: consistent, demonstrated actions. Period. That goes with everything that you do. Consistently demonstrate the actions that need to be done. Do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to do it, for the length of time you're supposed to do it. And if we do that, I think people will be very happy with the progress that this football program's made.
Yes, sir, Coach. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Good luck. Hey, get them guys healthy, and we will be in touch, Coach. Appreciate you.